morning. We're going to talk about, welcome back to our class session where we talk about relevant issues relating to the law. So, today we're going to talk about why it is illegal to bury your dead loved one in your residential apartment. In fact, without mincing words, you can actually be arrested and jailed for burying your late father, late mother, grandfather, or anybody at all in his own house within the compound and or areas around the compound. But of course, I have to give you reasons why it is what it is. In Nigeria, we really value even dead bodies. We give them lots of respect, and because we believe we have to pay our last respect. So we take very good care of where we bury them, how we bury them. People go as far as sometimes burying their loved ones in a vehicle, very expensive vehicle. Sometimes the coffin is very expensive, so you just want to give them that last respect. And even sometimes um the burial ground itself is well taken care of, so you embellish it. People even build it and go there on a yearly basis to pay respect. So but now, is it legal to bury your loved one in the house? Sometimes people bury loved ones inside the room the person lived and stayed. It is strictly illegal, and this is what the law says about it. Section 246 of the Criminal Code Act of the Federation, which is applicable in Nigeria, provides that any person who, without the consent of the president or the governor, buries or attempts to bury any corpse in any house, building, or premises, yard, garden, compound, or within 100 yards of any dwelling house or any open space situated within a township is guilty of a misdemeanor and is liable to imprisonment for 6 months. For 6 months. So what this means is you will go to jail if you bury your loved one in your compound. You will go to jail if you bury your loved one in an area that is within 100 yards from a residential area. You will go to jail if you bury your loved one inside the house. You will go to jail if you bury your loved one within a building or any residential premises, and you're going to jail for 6 months. No two ways about it. The only way to go around this is to seek the consent of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and you know how Herculean that process can be. Or you seek the consent of the governor of your state. All right, so that's the only way you can go around that. So section 246 of the Criminal Code Act prohibits anybody from burying any corpse in places designated in that section. A dwelling apartment, a residential building, and 100 yards outside a residential building. So the question you ask me is, where can I bury my loved one if I can't bury them in the house they built? What if the will says bury me inside my compound, bury me inside my house? What if the will says uh, bury me where I slept or my bedroom? You can't do that. If you do that, except you want to go to, some people really want to go to jail anyways. So if you want to go to jail, you can bury them within the compound and all of that, or you seek the consent of the governor or the consent of the president. That can be a very difficult process. So where can you bury your loved one? The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, particularly section 1 sub c of the fourth schedule, mandates the local governments to construct mortuaries, all right, burial grounds. If you go to Ikoyi in Lagos, you see a burial ground. So that is where you're supposed to bury your loved one. But if you think that place is too immodest for them, if you think it's too demeaning for them, you can seek the consent of the governor or the president to bury them in a compound, in a residential area. Sometimes people even bury their loved ones in a room. Then they'll put cement in the room, they'll tile the room, they'll floor the room, and in few months they rent that same room to people to live in, and the tenants don't even know that someone has been buried under the room they are living in. That's going to constitute health hazard. And for those who believe in spirits, tenants may sleep and start seeing spirits up and down. All right. So to prevent some of these things, the law says you can't bury anybody within the house. So I see lots of people, and again, you should understand that ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. People have burial grounds erected in their compound. It is very, very common. So the police can come up one day and say, "Why did you do this? Did you get the consent of the governor or the president?" And then you get arrested. All right. And that is the position of the law. 6 months, you will sleep in jail. So you go to the mortuary, the burial grounds, and bury your dead. Okay. And I've given you the exception. It is not as if the law does not respect, but, anyways, the dead is the dead. So why go to jail because of someone that has died? I believe this discussion has been helpful and informative. So if you have questions, you can drop it in the comment section.